This is Original Sports Perspective. From our couch to yours. Welcome to the CRR Report Podcast. Today, it's all about you, the fans, the readers. Those of you who on Facebook have some questions. I'm here to answer those. This is Jermaine Lockett. I am your host. And today, we have Jarnail Porter with question number 1. Who is the greatest athlete who never won a ring? Also, if you could place them on a championship team, which one? And who would you replace them with? This was the easy kill, folks. Dan Marino. I say that because of his 1984 season, where he had 48 touchdowns. 48 touchdowns in 1984. That had to be unheard of. This guy's before his time. 108 quarterback rating. I'd switch him with Trent Dilfer and pair him up with the 2000 Ravens. It would go down as one of the most complete teams in NFL history. Of course, I'm a little biased because I'm a Ravens fan myself, but I do think that we had probably one of the worst quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl with. So yes, Dan Marino, 2000 Ravens would be a great dynasty. Probably been more than one championship had that have been a pair-up. Our next question comes from Cassandra DeHart. Her question is Tim Tebow going to start at some point for the Eagles this year? You know, with injuries constantly being a big part of Sam Bradford's career, along with the uncertainty of Mark Sanchez at times, he's a little inconsistent. Should Tim Tebow make the 53-man roster, there's a good chance Chip will be forced to throw him in around Week 9 against who else but America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Question number 3 comes from Julia Parsons here in San Antonio, Texas. She says, is team hopping a sign of a bad athlete? And does it make you a bad athlete because you're choosing a better contract over your team? You know, Julia, nowadays, teams are just not loyal. Players are not loyal. It's a business. Everybody's looking out for that main dollar, that dollar bill, y'all. Most players, they're only going to get one big contract in their career, whether it be for a crappy team or a contender. So, just like in basketball, there's really no loyalty because everybody's trying to build those monster teams. So they're trying to get those 3 top players that they can work with to try to get them to the finals. You got to look at the NFL. People want to either go for the contract or they want to try and go get themselves a nice ring. Let's take Darrelle Revis, for instance. Darrelle kept bouncing around on teams trying to get that nice contract. And then he realized, it's not about the contract. Let's go get me a ring and then I'll get paid. He went to the Patriots, he got his ring, and then he went back to the Jets so he can get paid again. That's the guy that's kind of got that selfish Kobe Bryant mentality. I say Kobe Bryant, but Kobe Bryant stuck with his team for his entire career, but it's just like the mindset that he has. It's all about him. And, he got his ring. Darrelle Revis did. Now he's going to go get his money. I applaud him for his efforts. He's a heck of a businessman, but I wouldn't put him as a team player. So, I'm not a fan of Revis silence. So to answer your question, it doesn't make them a bad athlete because this is a business, and the real bad guys out there are the actual agents setting up these contracts that teams can't actually fulfill, which is actually killing the cap space, which is making all these players have to move around because they can't renegotiate contracts with the team that they're with because of all the other guaranteed money that's being signed for. It's not a perfect world. So moving on. With Rusty Jenkins. Rusty had to ask me something that he knows that I'm biased on and he knows that he's biased on. He asked me, why do LeBron fans rationalize Prince James' play style in this year's finals, but hate on Kobe for playing a similar style? Or why do they overlook his pathetic field goal percentage and act like his stats were otherworldly? Well, let me give you a little background on this question. This fan wears a Kobe Bryant warm-up suit to sleep in his Kobe Bryant bed and more than likely his purple and yellow house. And he's a grown man. To answer your question, the reason people rationalize Bron's style of play, even though it was basically mirroring Kobe's, is because unlike Kobe, Bron isn't selfish, and Bron he couldn't trust his teammates to get the job done simply because he rolled into the finals with a completely different supporting cast than what he went in with the regular season with. The difference between the two players is Kobe didn't have to be selfish with the ball in his finals appearances because he had superstars. He had a good supporting staff. He had a good supporting cast. And he had the greatest coach of all time to help him. LeBron simply did not. There it is, folks. There you have it. Original sports perspective. From our couch to yours. Thank you for listening to the Couch Writer Report podcast.